And I found this lovely little scene here, and I didn't see this one yesterday, probably because places change with the obviously with the conditions and the weather, and it was quite dreary in here yesterday, and we weren't really getting that much reflected light or ambient light. And today we're getting quite a bit of that, which is making such a difference because things are really popping out, scenes are showing themselves to me. And this one here is an example of that. So we've got this tree which is covered in moss and old ferns, and it's hanging over the top of this river here. Now the river's going through from left to right, so you've got that water flow going through the frame there, and I've got that tree kind of almost chopped in half at the top, so it's just showing those lower branches down here. We've got the bank sides, which has got, I think it's salal, Adam says, this stuff that's on the side. We've also got the autumn leaves, which are obviously beautiful browns of the beach that have fallen, and a few in the background as well, which is just sort of adding to that sort of autumnal feel, although the greens here are still quite fresh looking. So I'll get you to the back of the camera with this because I want to show you how I've positioned myself and also the aspect ratio that I'm using, because I think this one works so well for this particular scene. So what you should see is I've got this in a 65:24 aspect ratio, and the reason for that is we've got all this foam down in the bottom here, and it's not really like an eddy where it's swirling, so it's not really adding anything to the frame. So I've cut that section out, and I'm basically just focusing on where those rapids are flowing there and going under the tree. As you can see, by cropping this frame off like I have, it eliminates so much of the sky above, because any higher than halfway up, if I just tilt this up now, you'll start to see the sky creeping into the frame just through those branches, and I want to eliminate that as much as possible. So I'm just going to bring that back down again. There we go. And that just gets rid of that, and I'm still retaining the character of that tree, which is kind of the main focal point of the image. I've got this salal, which is either side of the scene here as well, which kind of almost draws the sides in and leads you through to that tree. On the side, on the right hand side of the frame, there's a cedar there again, which I'm using to almost frame the right hand side. And then obviously that tree is almost in the center of the image there, just in that top third where the branches all sort of droop down. Now as far as the water goes, I'm at half a second again, and f16 at ISO 640, because although there's light above, it's coming and going, there's clouds coming across, and obviously it gets darker and lighter. Now I obviously need this tree to be separated from the background, so it kind of gives a more three-dimensional effect. So what I'm actually having to wait for is a bit more of that ambient light to hit those mosses and kind of almost make it glow. And that's just going to make it stand out a bit more. Now on top of that, again, I'm using a case polarizer just to take the reflection off that water, because you can see there, if I didn't have the polarizer on, look how bright that water gets. And it kind of almost distracts you from that main focal point, which is the tree. So if I dial that down now, you'll see the water gets darker. And yes, you've got obviously the whites of the water as it moves through the scene, but it's not quite as jarring. You don't kind of notice it quite as much. So I'm just gonna, and it also, on top of eliminating those reflections on the water, it really makes those colours, autumn colours, and the greens themselves more saturated, and it pops a little better. So yeah, just gonna wait for a bit more of that ambient light to fall, and then I'll grab the shot. Well, good morning guys, hope you're all doing well. So we left Mull yesterday because the weather had just been so rubbish. You'd have seen in the last video, at least we got a couple of dry days, or a couple of dry periods where we got some shots anyway. So we've driven up to Torridon last night because we've got a workshop on Harrison Lewis starting on Sunday, so we're making our way north up towards Audiio. So we thought, because we've been to this area before, we'd come back up to Torridon and do a little bit more exploring, because the weather looked a lot better up this way. However, now what we've got, instead of pouring down rain, is we've got bright sunshine. You know, you can never win as a landscape photographer. There's always something wrong with the weather conditions, but it's definitely worth coming here, because we've got here this morning and you can see there's fog and mist hanging around. Lots of Scots pines, some lovely birch still with autumn colour, so I think there's plenty to explore. Now you can probably hear me panting away because I'm trying to kind of hurry up, because this fog is not going to stick around too long, and it's already burning off and the wind's picked up, so I want to try and make the most of it that we can, because obviously you don't get conditions like this all the time, so really want to make the most of it. So we're going to get down here, get down to the bottom and try and find something to work with, but it's a beautiful day nonetheless, absolutely stunning. And this whole week we've just had nothing but rain, so we really can't complain too much, because at least we've got a beautiful day if nothing else. So I'm going to get down the bottom here, find something to photograph, and I'll catch up with you in a little while. So very much a bit of a rush around this morning, and I've come marching down this road and come on to this lake that's just a bit further on from where we explored last time, because there was more fog and atmosphere down this end. And I think I've found a shot. Now it's changing by the minute, so I'm just sort of walking you through this as it's happening. So I'm just grabbing shots as well. And basically what it is, I've got it set in a pano mode. In fact, what I'll do is I'll really quickly set up the monitor so you can kind of see how I've got this laid out. Right, so being quite quick here, there we go. You should be able to see now that I've got this 65-24 laid out. Now you can see the lake is running away from this right hand side into the frame right from the right, and I'm following the edge of the lake itself right the way around. Now if I just select my focus point on the bit that I've got one of my thirds on, you'll see there I've got it on a bit of an island that's just jutting out from that sort of upper right third there. Now, that's what piqued my interest. However, I'm focusing down in the lower third. I've got that intersection on that spit of land there, and it's changing by the minute because there's getting less and less fog through here. But you've got the sun that's almost light in that mist and fog. The lake itself is obviously reflecting back a little, so I've actually added a polarizer just to take a little bit of that glare off, because it's a bit overbearing. I mean, I still like the bit of glare that I've got going on the right hand side of the frame, but there was just a little too much there. I'm just going to grab another shot. So at this at the minute, I'm at f16, ISO 100, and I'm at a 20th of a second. I'm one stop under, because as you know, fog and the highlights on the water I might have problems with. I never do on this camera. I don't know why I say it, but coming from Sony, I was always used to basically underexposing to make sure I don't blow out any of my information, and I've just stuck with that, and it's not doing me any harm whatsoever. This camera is fantastic at bringing shadows and everything back, so I don't need to worry about that at all. But yeah, it's not a complicated shot, but it was the first one that actually caught my eye as I came around the corner, and I really do quite like it. I think it works well as this pano format. I was trying it as a square format, and I'm not sure if it works the same. I'll show you what I mean if I just bring this up now. There you go. If I bring it into a square format, you can see it probably works as well, but you've got a little bit too much kind of foreground, I think, more of that grass in the frame. And I think it works just a little better if I just simplify it by using that pano format there. It's just more balanced to my eye, at least anyway. So yeah, I'm just grabbing shots as this mist and fog sweep through the scene. And when I've got the right sort of looking shot, I'll pop it up for you. I've just found this other shot because the light is kicking off quite nicely on the other side with this. The sun's actually coming through into the fog, and it's kind of lighting up the trees on the other side and giving really beautiful rays. So I've got this set up as a 4x3 at the minute, but I was shooting the pano again. It's just a beautifully simple shot with the light rays coming into the trees, you can see there, and it's just getting better and better as this light starts to come through. Absolutely beautiful. But I'm just going in every now and then and just checking my histogram, making sure everything looks good, because obviously the sun is basically just slightly off to the left, and it's going to be really easy to make a mess of this if I'm not careful. So you can see the 4x3s I'm just taking there, and I'm just taking them as this sort of mist moves through. I've kind of put those trees off that you can see on that right hand side, just onto the right hand side of the frame, and then kind of further across, which is hard to see now because the rays are coming right in the way, but there is another tree which kind of balances it out, so I'm just kind of waiting for that to clear out a little more. But it's just absolutely gorgeous this morning. So nice to actually get out and see some really nice light. I'm just going to change this up so you can kind of get the idea of what I was shooting with the pano version as well. Now obviously, as I've moved that in there, you can now see that everything's kind of gone completely now. It's really difficult to see anything at all because that mist and fog's just moved right in. In fact, I can't even focus because it's so there's so much of it. But yeah, it's just a case of waiting for this to clear out just enough so I can get focus, and you can actually see some detail in these trees, because if you don't, it's going to be a pretty pointless shot. It's just going to be light rays and nothing else. So I just keep firing away as this mist and fog roll through, and hopefully I get the right moment. Now what I'll do is I'll put both versions up. I'll put the 4x3 version up and the strip pano version, see which one you like best. But settings are relatively simple. I'm at ISO 100 f16 at 1/60th of a second, and I'm just underexposing again just to make sure, because that sun's really bright, and it's, as I say, it's just off to the left hand side of my frame there. But yeah, it's absolutely stunning. These are the kind of conditions I absolutely love. I love mist and fog moving through trees, and especially these trees, because obviously you've got the Scots pines, you've got bits of this fall colour, and it's just absolutely stunning. Right, I'm not even moving off this spot, and I'm getting shot after shot with these conditions. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to set this up again so you can see what I'm looking at. There we go. Right, so this time I've definitely gone into a strip pano, and you can see the group of trees that I'm focused on there. I've got them kind of in the middle of the frame, but it kind of rises up and almost bows over in that middle centre of the frame there. And the fog is just rolling through now, and that light is just catching it beautifully. And also, because the fog is thinning a little now, you're actually getting light on the trees as well. So it just looks great. Absolutely beautiful, and there's rays coming through those trees on the other side now. Oh man, this is the kind of shot I absolutely adore. And if this is the only shot I get today, man, I'll be happy, because this is absolutely stunning. The shape of these Scots pines is so beautiful in these kind of conditions as well. It's just, they look so majestic in these kind of ethereal conditions, and they just work so well. Oh, I'm really happy with this shot. If this turns out on the computer screen like it looks on the back of this screen, this will be fantastic. So guys, we've actually reached Harrison Lewis now, and we've just come out to explore a few of the areas that we're going to be visiting on this week's workshop before we actually get started tomorrow, just to see what it's going to look like. And you can kind of see it's kind of pretty dismal at the minute, but this is a place called Little Beach, and it's absolutely beautiful here, one of my favourite locations on Harrison Lewis. So this is going to be the end of this week's video, guys, because obviously got this workshop to start tomorrow. I don't know whether I'll have anything out for the week after next. We'll have to see how it goes, whether I get a chance to do little bits here and there while out on the workshop, in between taking people to locations. I'll have to see how it goes. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this week's video, and I'll see you on the next video soon. Take care. Bye-bye.